Hey guys, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Really only making a vlog because I'm bored and it was suggested to me to do so. I guess I could give you a little bit of insight as to who I am. I'm Kenzie Kaiser. I was born August 19th, 1996. I live in Amarillo, Texas, born and raised. I moved out of Amarillo August of last year and decided to go to Texas Tech University, where I'm majoring in electronic media and communications, and I'm minoring in atmospheric science. Basically, I guess it's just like my dream to be a field meteorologist and chase storms and report on them, update the world, because at this point in time, like the NOAA and the NWS don't issue warnings until it's too late. That's something that I want to change, and I want to make the world safer and more aware of the weather and storm systems and everything like that. I don't know how to explain freshman year. It's a whole lot of emotions. It's definitely, I don't really know. It's hard and it's confusing and you get frustrated and you cry and you just have a lot of emotions. College is hard. You have to find something that you love. If you don't love it, you're not gonna do good. You don't want to be stuck doing something the rest of your life that you don't love. Don't give up. Don't settle for something that you don't absolutely adore. Meteorology is my passion. I drive around town every day and am pointing out clouds and they're like formation, like, oh, that's a cumulonimbus with a severe updraft and a vertical wind shear and the temperature severely dropping in height. I just love the weather, and I didn't think that's what I wanted to do. I've always loved watching the weather on TV, and I've always loved storms. Like when the tornado sirens are blaring, I want to be outside watching the clouds and watching things form and take shape, and that's just something I love. I just get a rush of like adrenaline and excitement. I just want to go outside and stand in the rain and stare at the clouds. And I constantly worry about that I'm not going to be pretty enough for the cameras, or that there's going to be someone prettier or thinner. I don't care. I'm following what I love, and ultimately it doesn't matter where I end up, or if I end up behind the camera or in front of the camera or the van driver. As long as I'm doing something that I love and I'm following storms and I'm chasing them, then that's okay with me. I was in love with child psychology because I love children. I babysit. I do that in my free time for fun. Sometimes I babysit and don't even get paid just because I love it. And so I just thought, child psychology was the way I wanted to go, or anything that involved children. Then I started really thinking about the weather. I can't even begin to explain how happy I get when I talk about the weather. And that's a feeling that I haven't felt when I wanted to do all these other things. I've always wanted to be someone who wanted to change the world. And you don't have to go out and feed a whole African tribe to change the world. You don't have to make this huge stand to change the world. You can do something as little as helping someone walk across the street when they can't, or doing little acts of kindness, like buying someone food when they can't afford it themselves. You can do so much to change the world. And I believe that my dreams of being a meteorologist is going to change the world. I want to bring it more into light about the dangers of storms. I don't think people really understand them. And that's because the NOAA and the NWS don't teach you that. And your local TV stations, they don't teach you about storms. They just tell you, oh, go to safety. That's it. Go to safety. They don't teach you how they're formed or what damage they could do. And they just scare you with images of how they have affected people. And I think that's wrong. I think if people knew more about what was going on in storms and how they worked, then they would be safer, you know? Like, they're better aware of their surroundings. One thing I hate so much is the NOAA and the NWS refuse to report, and like even local weather stations refuse to make a tornado warning until there's one on the ground. And I think that is like super unsafe, because what happens when there's a tornado forming above a neighborhood full of children, or right above a house that's having a family reunion? And these people are so unaware. They're just like, oh, it's just a watch. It's just possible at this point in time. Like, that's it. And so they're not freaking out. They don't care. They're just going on with their business. And then that tornado drops, killing all of these people. And then the NOAA and NWS and local stations then post a warning saying, oh, now take shelter. But that whole family, like, they didn't know. They can't do anything about it. They're gone now because lack of knowledge, and because they weren't aware. People don't care. They see the news and they see watch, and they don't care. They're like, oh, you know, it's just capable of producing this. But that's not true. Like, yes, when a watch is issued, that means that the storm is capable of producing certain things, like severe thunderstorm watch. That means that there's a storm forming and that it could turn into something severe, but it's not yet. Or tornado watch. That means there's a severe thunderstorm and it could turn into a tornado, but it's not. And like, people just don't care. They're like, oh, well, it's not that. It's not that. And that just makes me so frustrated. Like, a watch can turn into a warning in a matter of seconds. Like, it just frustrates me, because I've seen so many places impacted by tornadoes and by hurricanes and by earthquakes. And it's simply because the stations won't issue warnings until it's too late. And that's something I want to change. Like, I want people to know that there's danger and that they need to seek shelter, and that they don't need to just go on with their business, that they need to keep an eye on the TV. They need to keep an eye on the sky. Just because the TV is telling you one thing doesn't mean that's going on outside. When I lived in Lubbock, I checked my weather app. I had the National Weather Service app on my phone, just because I'm this huge nerd who loves getting updates about the weather. Like, I love it. And so I have it on my phone, and I went to class from 9 to 11 in the mornings. Then from 11 to 12, I was at lunch, and then I had class from 12 to 1. Like, I went back to my dorm, and I was eating, and I luckily was wearing dark pants and a black Browning shirt, and I was like, you know, like, I heard something outside, but I was like, it just started getting cloudy, and so I was like, you know, I'm going to check the radar just in case. And so I looked at the radar, and there was nothing. And then I looked at the chances of rain, and it was like 0% chance of rain, and like 95 degrees, and like no clouds in the sky, according to the National Weather Service app. And I walk outside, and the water was up halfway to my calves, and it was pouring rain, and I couldn't miss any more class. Like, if I missed any more class, then it'd start affecting my grade, and I'd already missed like 3, and so I couldn't miss any more, or it would affect my grade. And so I was like, well, now I have to walk to class in the pouring rain. Oh well. And so I'm just walking across campus, just drenched. I ended up losing my student ID at some point in time. My phone was covered in water. Like, I had to go home and soak it in rice. And I don't know. It was an eventful day. I got to the mass communications building, which is about a 10-minute walk from my dorm, and everyone was just standing inside. I took off my sandals, and I was carrying them, and I just started slipping and sliding all over the tile floor. And I started going down the stairs. Well, these 2 guys were walking up, and I guess they thought that I couldn't hear them because I was soaking wet. And, you know, when you're wet, your ears don't work. But, yeah, so they were walking up. I was walking down, and this guy looks at his friend and goes, dude, that girl looks like she just took a shower fully clothed. It's like, I feel like I just took a shower fully clothed. It's not a fun experience. You know, I was wet in places that I definitely did not want to be wet. Since then, like, I just get super frustrated with the National Weather Service app. And you know, Texas is flat. Like, flat as a rock, a board, you know? Flat as a board. And you can just see them for miles and miles and miles. And I always get updates saying, oh, lightning struck 2 miles northwest of your location. And I'm like, oh, that's funny. Where's it coming from? And there's like no clouds in the sky. Like, none. And I'm like, well, unless it's God's wrath coming down, there ain't no lightning. There's nothing. So you're going crazy, Weather Service app. I don't know. That just frustrates me. That's like, that's something that irks me. I don't really know. It just frustrates me so much. And it's been messing up a lot lately. Saying, oh, well, this lightning striking, and it's about to start raining at 9:34 p.m. and it's going to continue for the next few hours. Like, bull honky, it's going to continue for the next few hours. There ain't nothing in the sky. I don't know. But, yeah. I'm just mad at that app right now. Sometimes it sucks being a meteorology student, and then the meteorologists around the world are messing things up. And then you're like, you know, you could stick a kindergartner out there and they're going to be able to predict the weather a whole heck of a lot better than you are at this point in time. It just frustrates me. Honestly, I think the 5-year-old that I babysit could probably predict the weather better than the NWS can right now. And that's bad. Because the 5-year-old that I have tries to convince me that he can't read. And he could predict the weather better. So, obviously something's going on wrong there. I don't know. It's just, I love it. It just excites me. It makes my heart happy. And don't go for something that you don't love. I don't know. That's getting hot in here because I'm ranting. It smells oddly like flowers in here because I have flowers next to me. I don't like it. I mean, I like it. I like getting flowers, but it just smells a lot like pollen. I don't know where I was going with that. But, you know, like if you're going into a field where you have to be in mass media, don't worry if someone's going to be skinnier or prettier than you, like, don't, you know? Like, people don't care. You know, if you're qualified, they're going to take you. And if you have good recommendations and, like, a good track record, then they're going to want you. They're going to want someone who knows what they're doing, not someone who looks good. Like, I mean, given it's a bonus if you look good and you got a good track record. I'm not the skinniest. I'm not the prettiest. I don't have the best complexion. But I'm following my dreams. Like, I don't care if I drive the car around the storm. Like, I don't care if I'm not on camera. I just want to be, like, in that environment. So I bought this mason jar to hold Q-tips in my bathroom. But I think it's too tall. I think it'd just look weird. I bought this one too, but this one's for like my toothpaste and toothbrush. I don't know. I feel like this one would be better for like straws. Why I need straws in my bathroom? But hey, you never know. Weirder things have happened. But it's cool. I mean, ultimately, like, I'm gonna be grateful for it in the end. I'm gonna be grateful for the thousands of dollars I'm spending going to school. Enjoy yourself. It's college, but also focus on your studies. It's an experience, and it's definitely one for the books. It's definitely one to want to be able to remember. You don't want to look back and be like, oh man, I did so awful in college. You know, like, you don't want to be talking to your grandkids one day and be like, I dropped out of college because I was too afraid to go to class and make friends. so I just stayed at home and watched Netflix. You know, like, you don't want to be talking to your kids one day or your grandkids one day telling them that. You're there. Just do you. You know, like, make your parents proud. They're proud of you, I promise. It's okay if you don't have a great relationship with both of your parents. Like, I'm not fortunate enough to have my dad in my life, but I have the most amazing mom in the entire world who would give absolutely anything for me. And that's something that I love, and I'm so blessed. And she's so proud of me. If you want to go to an Ivy League school, follow it, you know? Apply for scholarships and grants and loans. I mean, loans aren't the greatest to have. They definitely suck. But, you know, like, they're there and they're available to you. And if money is an issue, then you'll figure it out. You will apply for every scholarship known to man. But if you're doing what you love, then it doesn't matter, you know? Like, you're going out there, you're doing what you love, you're following your dreams, you're making new dreams, you're following pathways that you didn't know existed, you're making pathways. And no matter what, don't give up. Always step forward, never back.